World. This is Cheryl Chapman calling you on behalf of Radio W.O.R.K.S. And I'd like to say hello to my lovely colleague Marina. How are you today?
Wow, Cheryl, I'm so excited. I know it must be almost midnight where you are. Where are you right now?
Well, at the moment, I'm in Melbourne. So the last time I spoke to you, I was in Sydney. We came down to Melbourne on Tuesday. And yeah, so been here for a couple of days doing an event, got a couple of days left, meeting some great people down here in Melbourne before I jump on a plane to come back to the UK for literally 36 hours. And then I'm heading out to Toronto. So yeah, put a few air miles, put it that way.
Wow, Cheryl, how should I put this? What makes you who you are? I mean, you got this tremendous love for people, and you are going places. You never get tired. You are jumping from one airplane to another, from one city to another, from one continent to another. Now you are in Australia. You are coming back to Europe and going to North America, which is really not big deal when you are Cheryl Chapman. But so what's happening in Melbourne right now? What you found that you want to share with us and give us the why?
Yeah, it's really interesting here in Melbourne because 30 years ago I lived in Melbourne for about 3 months. Well, when I say I lived here, I was visiting, and it's really crazy because I reckon that 30 years ago I was probably very blinkered to life. I can't remember anything, and I don't think the place has changed so much in 30 years. There's still some sites, but I just can't remember anything. And I laugh with my audiences because when I'm doing presenting, I don't present with any notes or anything. And they're like, wow, you must have like a great memory. And I'm like, gosh, you're joking. Can't even remember my name half the time. But it's a bit like anything. When you start to share what you love, it comes from the heart. And I've been helping some people share their whys and find their whys, while we've been here. And that's been very interesting for me because, most of my wise women are of a certain age, shall we say, so between sort of 35 and 55. But I've got some gentlemen in the audience at this particular event and some younger gentlemen. Some very attractive men, actually. It's such a bad job, but someone has to do it. And they're really nice young guys, but they want to find their passion early. And for me, that is brilliant because, it's one of those things, Marina, and I'm sure that the listeners have potentially thought about this as well. If I could turn back time, would I change anything? Well, I don't believe that there's any point in thinking like that because you are who you are because of what life threw in your direction. It makes you who you are today. All the pain, and suffering that through kind of makes them who they are. But I just wish I'd known about some of the stuff that I know now. So I wouldn't change anything, even the pains brought me to where I am today. But yeah, I just known some of the stuff that I know now. And these young guys are like really hungry to know. One of the young guys is from Germany. So I've been practicing my Sprechen Sie Deutsch. I know a little tiny bit of German. He's been laughing at me. And he just said to me the other day, do you make some money out of doing this? And I was like, well, listen, I wouldn't do it if I didn't, clearly, because I've got bills to pay just like everybody else. But that's not the main reason. The main reason is, as I'm sure you can see, I love what I do, and we've been having banter and a few jokes and sharing some content and wisdom. And he was like, oh my gosh, I can just see it in you. And he's like really kind of motivated by that. And that's a really, you've met a person and you're helping them to make a decision that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. I don't know if you've ever had, anything like that, Marina, but that's exactly, it just lights me up. I can't help but be energized by the people around me. So that definitely helps get over jet lag. What do you think?
Well, I think that everybody, each one of us and our listeners could relate to this, I'm sure. wants to make the difference. That when you ask somebody what is that you want, even if they are telling you, I want more money, you know what they mean by that. They mean that because everybody wants money of them, they want to give them so much that they will never come back to ask for more, and they could do their own thing. To me, this is
Yes.
how that translates. But and follow their passion and find their why and do all the divine things we are designed to experience on this planet. But
Yes.
lately, uh, almost 4 years ago, when I started this journey back in 2012, when I've been invited on stage in front of 9,000 people, and I had no idea what to say, you know. And then I realized that after 50 minutes, everybody wanted to know me.
Yes.
I had the same clothes, Cheryl. You know, I was exactly the same person like before, and nobody
Yeah.
ever in my entire life wanted to ask me a question. I was the one chasing people. I was the one showing them what I have to them. I had a very successful business, but because I was very good at ticking the box and providing the service that nobody else did, and I was working, I don't know if 100 times it's perhaps it's an understatement. Perhaps 100 times less, more than other people would work to achieve that. So I was really,
Yes.
really not having a holiday, not having what holiday? I'm kidding. Not having a weekend. I never had a day off for decades. And that was the price I was
Wow.
paying for having clients, for having happy clients, and keeping them coming back. But I was always chasing something. And then after
Yeah.
those 50 minutes, perhaps I think surely you've been on that stage back in November 2012 when Bill Clinton was speaking. And
Yes.
after that, I had people chasing me, even going after me to the ladies' room. You know, they're queuing up not to use the ladies' room, but to talk to me. So
Wow.
that changed my perspective on life. Even I had no idea what to do next, how I could help these people, how I could be at service to them. It is a total new industry, speaking and sharing your message and broadcasting your passion and helping other people to craft their own message to be able to attract ideal clients. It is a total different industry. To me, at least, it was like, what's this? I couldn't even name it. I had no idea what it is, but I wanted to make the difference. So with
Yes.
that in mind, that was my main goal. But with that in mind, then I traveled the world. I started hoovering the planet for big ideas, for great people. And I realized that actually each one of us got the same divine essence and is so abundant that, oh my God, all these total strangers, I got to know them and love them and cherish them. And I felt so privileged to be able to broadcast their passion. And this is how I discover myself. And what happened
Yeah.
after that, I realized that, yes, you make the difference, but you can't, it's not sustainable unless you turn it into a business and you make the fortune. Because
Yeah.
unless I make the fortune, my clients cannot be inspired to make the difference because they know it's not sustainable. So
Yeah.
then I got into a different state of mind, thinking, well, this is beyond money. This is my life mission. I can't help it. Even if I have to lose everything, I have to do it. I can't help it. It's something I cannot hold back. It's something that is so powerful, is more powerful than me, than any money, than any people who are trying to stop me, more powerful than anything I ever known is possible. And that, with those two words, the difference and the fortune, I married the two. You know, I got a great ceremony and I
Yeah.
married the two. Now they are together forever. And I had
Yes.
to, like yourself, I had to come to terms with my own worth and accept my worth and master it, to be able to give more, to be able to inspire more and help more people. Because I don't want to just inspire somebody and turn my back. I want these people to inspire other people and keep it going and have that structure where they could pour their own content into that framework and make the difference and the fortune.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I was brought up, and not necessarily with the adage that rich people were evil or anything like that. Nothing like that. But money didn't grow on trees, and it was a little bit of a lack. A background of lacking. Everything was a competition, only because my parents had been brought up in the same way, working class family. But it's interesting because it isn't until you have the riches of life, now whether or not that's money or whether or not it's information or passion, whatever you want to call it, but until you experience it, you cannot pass that on. I absolutely agree with what you're saying there. So if you are gaining information, if you share it, that's great, you're passing it on. If you gain some wealth, people, and that means you pass it on, that's great as well. But you've got to have something before you can pass it on. So if you don't have any experience in something, I'm a professional public speaker, but if I hadn't have trained and spent a lot of time focusing on that, how can I tell somebody else how to do that? How can I help a woman become a wise woman if I haven't reached that level of understanding, awareness, knowing how to set my intention, knowing how it feels to be lit up every day? Because for me, that's like a lack of integrity. So you've got to be able to walk the talk the walk, and do both of them, and just be really genuine about what you do. And do I have down days? Well, I don't know if I have down days anymore, but I have down moments just like everybody else, and I do get tired. But I can't help but be energized by whatever's going on around me. So I have the choice, don't I? I can hang around with miserable people who are always coming from a place of lack and competitiveness, or I can hang around with people who are inspiring, who are inspired, who are just working on purpose. They know what they want, they're energized, they're confident, and it's amazing. You go into a room full of energized people and you cannot help but be energized. So why would anybody choose to be miserable these days? It is a choice. That definitely is the situation for me. And that comes, I think, because my cousin Lindsay, she died when she was 27. And that's like 13 years ago now. She had a young son. She was born with a disease called cystic fibrosis. It's a disease of the lungs. And she had a little motto, and it was, you can choose 5 minutes of wonderful or a lifetime of regret. And she lived every day as if it was her last. She never knew when she was going to die. She had a child against all odds. She had a double lung transplantation. And so she got an extra 5 years with her son. And I just think, some of us I think we just think we're going to be here forever. And so we kind of pussyfoot around. And interesting, I talk about Lindsay now, but the other great, the thing that I'm really grateful for is because, I can travel the world, because I can do what I love, because I worked hard to get where I am, and I now have that luxury. It allows you to share other people's messages. So Lindsay, she's died physically, but her message is carried on, because I talk about her from stage. And I'd really love to announce, you heard it first here on the radio.
Breaking news, listen
breaking
up.
Is that I'm launching a campaign which is called the R.E.D Awareness Campaign. And for those of you who know me, red is one of my colours. You'll always see me wearing red and black. Red lipstick I normally have, red glitter shoes I'm famous for, red nails. And the R.E.D stands for Remember to Encourage Donation. And I mean as in transplants and organ donation. About the donation of the lungs that my cousin had, she wouldn't have had those 5 years. And here's the thing, a young girl had to dash. She was only 6 years old for my cousin to have an extended life. Does that make sense? So the R.E.D awareness, I'm really asking people to get behind the campaign. I'm not asking for any money or anything like that. I just want people to post on social media pictures of them, wearing red lipstick. I mean, that can be guys and girls. It's totally up to you, or wearing something that's red, because that's the sort of thing that you can do when you're no longer here, and it still keeps somebody alive, gives somebody hope. And I think if we can just be part of the world and make a difference while we're here or even after we've gone, then that for me is what purpose is about. It's about making a difference in the world when you're here and leaving a legacy when you're not here. Business, it can just be in your family, or it can be something like, leaving, your organs, so somebody else can live after you've passed. So that's my breaking news. And again, that came about from being inspired by the people that have been in my family, my cousin, but me on a daily basis. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. If anybody wants to post on social media, just tag me, Cheryl Chapman, and then I'm going to make a bigger campaign out of it when I get back to the UK after my travels. So there we go, Marina. That's breaking news.
Wow. And I was about to break the news as well. But I was waiting for the right moment, so I better take this moment and make it perfect to break some more news. Cheryl Chapman, the wise roving reporter, who is lovingly and laughingly and so lively, reporting from all over the world as you go from one continent to another, as if you are just stepping over a little pond. You've been nominated for the Why Woman globally to our Radio W.O.R.K.S Awards 2016, which is going to be held in London on the 2nd of October. Whatever you do, just say yes, because people will start voting for you. And please ask your friend, your family, everyone to vote for you, because I want nothing more than you to be the why woman.
Thank you very much, Marina. That's brilliant news. Thank you so much. Thank you to you. Brilliant. And yes, I'll put the 2nd of October. Did you say 2nd?
Yes, please be in London. Otherwise, I have to come and drag you back to London.
Will do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, key message for today?
Key message for today is to live, love, laugh, and to post it on Facebook.
Wow. Thank you so much for our listeners for listening in and taking notes and remembering to encourage donations, and for voting Cheryl Chapman for the Why Woman at the Radio W.O.R.K.S Awards 2016, 2nd of October. Join us, come to London, and I promise you, you will never stop loving yourself. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.